Alright guys, this video is going to discuss the box and whisker plot, and I'm going to start off by showing you how to read it first, and then we're into the video, we'll go ahead and create one. So let's just go ahead and start by discussing what it is. What this box and whisker plot does is it gives you the 5-point summary, as you can see here. Alright, and I'm sorry, that's pretty messy. It gives you the 5-point summary, which talks about the minimum value or the lower extreme, quartile 1, the median, quartile 3, and it also gives you the maximum or the upper extreme. Now let's go ahead and look at our box plot that's right in front of us. This right here represents the minimum or the lower extreme. Now guys, some kids will actually look at this number line and say, well, wait a minute, 50 is the minimum. Actually, there's nothing above that 50. So that 50 is just a number on the number line, but it doesn't really represent anything on the box plot. All right, now let's go look at this number here. This one represents the maximum, which is 100 in this case. And right here in the middle of the box, that is called your median. And what the median means, guys, is that half of the data is going to be below, in this case, I would say 81. All right, half of the data is going to be below 81, and half of the data is going to be above 81. All right, so that's what the median does for you. It lets you know that half of the data, where half of the data is going to be. And this one right here, which is right at about, let's say 73 maybe, that represents quartile 1. This one here, which is right at above 90, that represents quartile 3. All right, so to be a little bit more specific, guys, a lot of students typically ask, well, I only see quartile 1 and quartile 3. Let me go ahead and show you that there's 4 quartiles total. From your minimum to the end of quartile 1, that's quartile 1. From the beginning of quartile 1 to the median, that's quartile 2. From the median to the end, that's quartile 3. And of course, this last one here represents quartile 4. All right, so as you can see here in the box and whisker plot, you can see that 50% of the data falls between quartile 2 and quartile 3. All right, let's go ahead and look at another one. Okay, so here you have another box plot that's very similar to what we had. Go ahead and put the video on pause and see if you can label the 5-point summary. I want to see quartile 1, quartile 3, the median, the minimum, and the maximum. Okay, so go ahead and put the video on pause and check back, unpause it to see if you were correct. So here are the results. 65 represents your minimum, or the lower extreme. The 100 represents your maximum, also known as the upper extreme. The 80, which is in the middle of the box, represents the median. The 70, which is at the end of the one of the edges, represents quartile 1. And the 90 here represents quartile 3. All right, guys, so with box plots, you can do several things. You can also find the range. And remember, the range is the largest number minus the smallest number. So here would be 100 minus 65, which is equal to 35. So your range is from 65 all the way to 100, so there's 35 numbers between them. You can also find, with the box plot, your interquartile range. And remember, your interquartile range is when you do quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So let's go ahead and substitute those variables with numbers. Quartile 3, as you can see, is right here. It's 90 minus quartile 1, 70. All right, so 90 minus 70 is going to give me 20. So In addition to finding the minimum, maximum, median, quartile 1, and quartile 3, I was also able to find the range and the interquartile range. Don't forget, guys, all this does is tell you the whiskers, which are right here. Here are your whiskers outside of the box. What the whiskers do, it just shows you the spread or the range of the data where everything falls. All right, now that we know how to read it, let's go ahead and create one. Okay, so here are a list of numbers, and I went ahead and put them in order for you already, from least to greatest. Please, please, please make sure that when you are creating one, your numbers are in order so you can find your information. All right, so mine's already in order, so let's go ahead and fill out the table before we fill out the box and whisker plot. Let's go ahead and find our minimum. Our minimum is super easy to find. That's our lowest number, that's 65. Our highest, or the maximum, is 100. All right, now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and find the median, which is also known as the middle number. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting rid of numbers until I get to the middle. So my median is 80. I'm going to put that on my table. So here I went ahead and took a little snapshot of some of the grades from the week 24 CCA. It doesn't have any names, so it's all good. And what I want you to do is, in a moment, go ahead and pause this video, try filling out the table first, and then creating your box plot. When you're done, hit the pause button again so you can play it, and I'm going to go ahead and explain how to do this one more time. So here we go. This time you actually have to put your numbers in order on your own. So I'm going to count. The smallest, of course, is in red. That's 25. And then we have 75 numbers in the 70s. Then I'm going to go ahead and put little marks next to my 80s. They're all in the 80s. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 80s. I'm gonna mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 185. And I'm scratching the numbers off, guys, so I don't repeat myself again. Now I'm gonna put little dots next to the 90s. So there's 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm going over these numbers here. And then I'm going to put 205s. 1, 2. All right, so now that my numbers are in order, I'm going to go ahead and do the easiest part. I'm going to mark my minimum, which is 25. And then I'm going to also mark my maximum, which is 105. All right, now I'm going to find the number in the middle. So I would scratch, 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 all the way until you get to the middle. All right, so as you can see here, guys, I have 2 numbers in the middle. What do you do when you have 2 numbers in the middle? You find the average or the mean by adding 80 plus 85. That's going to give me 165. And then I'm going to divide 165 by 2 because I added 2 numbers, the 80 and the 85. All right, so 2 can go into 1, 0. 2 can go into 16, 8 times. 2 can go into 5, 2 times. I have 1 left, so we put a decimal. 2 can go into 10, 5 times. So in this case, my median would be 82 and 5/10. So my middle number will not be 80 and it will not be 85. So neither of those are my median. So I'm going to go ahead and put my middle number, my median, as 82.5. All right, what I'm going to do, and again, guys, this data looks pretty bad. I didn't have too much space to write on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to first locate my lower half and find quartile 1 by finding the number in the middle. I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use black so I can see it better. I'm going to start scratching numbers out. And again, I have 2 numbers in the middle. But since they're both the same, 80, quartile 1 is going to be 80. Let's do the upper half and find the number in the middle. Scratch, 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 and you have two 90s, and if you find the average, 90 plus 90, that's 180, and then you divide it by 2. I'm sorry, I'm giving you the answer. Sorry. All right, I'm sorry about that earlier. All right, so our minimum is 25 and our maximum is 105, but I like to start with the median. In this case, it's 82.5, so it's going to be closer to 80. So I'm going to mark it here, right around there. Quartile 1 is right at 80, right about there, and quartile 3 is at 90. So this one is pretty tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to box those in. Sorry, this one here didn't look so great. There we go. All right, in the median, you draw a line down the middle. And now we're going to discuss our whiskers, which are the minimum and the maximum. The minimum is at 25, so it's right in the middle of 20 and 30. And the maximum is 105, which is in the middle of 100 and 110. All right, so I'm going to extend the whiskers. As you can see, guys, sorry, the whiskers are pretty long on the left side. That means that this is skewed to the left. And the range is pretty wide here. You can see that the spread is pretty long. So to find the range, we do the largest minus the smallest. Again, guys, just because 0 is on the number line doesn't mean 0 is part of the data. The data starts at 25 and ends at 105. So we're going to use those numbers. So that means that the range is 80. Again, don't forget, besides this, you can also find the interquartile range by subtracting quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So let's substitute that with numbers. Quartile 3, 90, minus quartile 1, 80, which is 10. So that represents your interquartile range. All right, guys, I hope this short video helps you a little bit to better understand the box and whisker plot. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll be uploading new videos. And when you subscribe, please make comments on what I can do to make it a little bit easier and better for you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.